When Harvey Grinsell chose to leave Putnam High School before graduation to enlist in the Navy, it became more than a patriotic move. It established his career path toward a lifetime medical profession. A military assignment as a pharmacist mate aroused his interest in the medical field, and there was no turning back. Although his father, Harvey Sr., was a former mayor of Putnam, and despite serving as president of the Putnam High School class of 1945, there was little desire to pursue a career in politics. Born in Putnam in 1927, he grew up on Providence Street across from St. Mary's Church. While there is now an open lot where the Grinsell house once stood, a memorial marker adorns the site to honor both Harvey Sr. and Jr. for their contributions to the community. After receiving his high school diploma while serving his naval assignment, he returned to the Putnam area, earned his Bachelor of Science degree from Trinity College in Hartford, before graduating from Tufts Medical School in 1954. That year, he was called back into the Navy, and now Dr. Grinsell served as medical officer for the Atlantic Fleet. Additional studies included a residency at Charity Children's Hospital in New Orleans, where he developed an antidote for lead poisoning and conducted research to diagnose spinal meningitis, and advanced studies at the University of Michigan followed. In 1952, he married Alma Trudy Bourne, a registered nurse from Woodstock, and the family expanded to include Stephen, Gary, David, Lisa, and Heidi. Dr. Grinsell's medical career is notable for his many local achievements. He was founder and director of the Day Kimball Hospital Pediatric Center, the first known hospital-based program in the country.
Harvey had opened the Pediatric Center in 1972, coordinating with Chuck Snyder, who was the CEO of Day Kimball at that point. And they were starting something that was pretty unique for that period of time. Now everybody is a hospital-associated physician, but in 1972 and 73, it was a very different kind of thing. And Harvey and Chuck were pretty bold in trying to put this pattern together at that point. It was certainly a very different thing for this community. Also, Harvey introduced the usage of nurse practitioners. Again, very unusual, but had several excellent nurse practitioners from the beginning with him, and it really just added a wonderful dimension to pediatric practice here.
As medical director of the John Dempsey Regional Center, he co-developed one of the state's first early intervention programs for infants and children with developmental disabilities. It was designed to teach these youngsters how to live in a society and to reach their full potential through programs at public school known as mainstreaming.
He had done a lot of work around focusing on children with disabilities and how to get services for them, because this was a barren place in those days for this sort of thing. And the other piece that he brought back was a wonderful understanding of what would become a very familiar diagnosis, but in the early 70s, nobody had any real experience with dealing with it. And this is the attention deficit hyperactivity disorder problem. He understood it, knew how to manage it, understood that you don't toss a diagnosis like that out casually, and has developed a whole format for evaluating a child whose parents thought this might be an issue for them, and then putting together a management process and a follow-up process to be sure that it was all working okay. But this, at the time he was doing this, in the 70s, this was a really novel approach to have out here, and it was wonderful.
He encouraged in-school medical exams, immunizations, and various screenings for untold numbers of children in northeastern Connecticut. Dr. Grinsell brought the federal Women, Infants, and Children's Program to area rural communities to improve maternal and childhood nutrition. Because of these medical contributions, he was honored as Man of the Year by the Plainfield Jaycees, received a Distinguished Service Award from Quinebaug Valley Association for Retarded Children, and in 2009, Dr. Grinsell was inducted into the Connecticut Veterans Hall of Fame for past military achievements and medical contributions to his community. Above all, he truly cared for children. When he believed in something that would benefit any youngster, nothing would deter him. He was remembered by parents in varied ways, but his compassion and direct communication with the child never wavered.
He told it like it was, and it was either his way or the highway. And parents, patients, either loved him or they hated him. But she said, you know, the vast majority of them loved him, and I can say that too. You know, he was not only loved, he was beloved.
After successfully removing a crayon fragment from a child's nose, Dr. Grinsell remarked to the young patient, "I'll bet you'll never do that again." The youngster replied, "I might, because I know that you'll take care of me." Dr. Grinsell passed away in 2012 on his mother's birthday. A fitting remembrance from one parent is an appropriate summation of his life and what he brought to the Putnam area. Dr. Grinsell helped raise our children and made us all better parents.
So many more that loved him and just were so thankful for not only his care of their children, but also the fact that he had created this pediatric center. And that's the most important thing that he contributed to this area.